I can see it coming through now. Okay, I can see it. Perfect.
Okay, you're seeing the site.
I do. Yep. I see the novelty and citations picture there.
Okay, the first thing I would like to see if you can help me fix, and hopefully this will be the easy thing, and then the other thing I think is going to be more difficult.
Okay.
Um, let me just open up. I'm sorry, it's so slow all the time.
That's okay.
See here, and here,
Yeah.
and then down here. I thought with the padding we could. Is there any way that we could make it so this doesn't happen?
Definitely. Yeah.
So on one screen in Chrome, like I'll show you. See, it looks fine.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you can. So you can add padding to the images. That's something you could probably do in your style sheet, like we had done some of those, font changes and positioning changes. You could actually just go and say, "Hey, when I upload an image, give me like 10 pixels of padding all around it." That'd be the easiest way. That's the quick and dirty way of doing it. When you do that, you're pushing padding all around it. So like you see how the image is justified all the way to the right, you're going to add some padding there and to the top as well if you do that across the board. But it's a quick way to just push the text off a little bit.
So where will we put that in the next in here again?
Yeah, exactly. So you could come in there and you could just you could add. You have to make sure you're being specific enough. So you might want to say like inside the body. So if you go all the way down to the bottom into like a new section here, and then enter down, go to the next line. Then you write body to make sure that we're inside the body. And then space to show that we're nested within the body. And then just IMG for the image tag. And then open your curly bracket. And then if you go to the next line and say something like padding 10 pixels, 10 px. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Then put a semicolon. Perfect. Yep, and then close your brackets there. So that, and then if you save that, assuming that it's specific enough, it'll probably add some padding to those pictures. There's a chance it's not specific enough. We can take a look at that, though. Yep, and then you flush the cache. Perfect. At the top, do you see where it says view at the top? Yeah, if you click the view tab, yeah, and that'll take you to the front end of it, because that's where you'll see the change.
Yeah, I don't want to edit this right now.
Yeah.
Chip, can you log into this site yourself?
Yeah, I should be able to, because I have access to it right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that looks better. And those
Oh,
look better.
okay, yeah. So yeah, it added a little bit of padding to those pictures, so that's good. Yeah. Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Exactly.
Perfect.
Here's the big problem, and I have no idea what's going on. Alex doesn't have any idea what's going on.
Sure.
I don't think it has anything to do with the cache.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has something to do with, well, I'll show you.
Okay.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my history, okay?
Sure.
There seems to be some sort of confusion between the sub-site and the main site.
Sure.
And I'm hoping it's going to be able to easily be fixed with like the URL path.
Okay. Yeah. We'll take a look.
I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go to admin.nvr.org
Mm-hmm.
/Drupal. Now I'm not going to be logged in.
Okay.
It's just going to go to the site, okay?
Sure.
And then I'm going to go to menu.
Okay.
All people meet. That's wrong. That's the menu for the main site, not for the Drupal.
Okay.
However, if I click on home here, and if you look down here where it's going,
Yeah.
it's going to the Drupal home, but it still puts in this. But then if I go to people,
Then you're gonna get the right one, right? Sure.
the right one.
Okay.
And then I go back to home,
Mm-hmm.
and then now home is home, really home again.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have no idea how to fix. Alex doesn't either.
Okay. Let's take a look. Let's log in again and take a look at the menus and see if we can figure out what's going on there.
Okay, so now we're at the main site.
Okay.
And you see now, even at the main site, I don't know why it pulls up this. I mean, I don't want to break anything.
Sure. Yeah. So
So where should we go?
yeah, let's take a look at a couple. Let's open a couple of tabs. Let's Can you control click on where it says structure on your main menu? Yeah. And then when that opens, click into there, and then click on menus about halfway down the list there. So I assume we have a couple different menus going on. So I think we have main navigation and SOSF nav. So can you control click on edit on the SOS nav? Yeah, control click there. So, yeah, just to open a new tab. I want to look at these kind of side by side, and then you can just regular click on the main menu tab, the edit menu next to the main menu, the one above where you're at. Yeah, you can just regular click there. I just want to look at these two side by side. So the regular menu looks like it has home, people, meetings, and data, and that's what you're seeing sometimes, right? And then the other one has probably the other links, right? So if you click on that other tab there, yeah. So this one has the ones that you want to see, right?
That's right.
So sometimes it looks like we're seeing the main navigation, and sometimes we're seeing the SOSF nav, right? Does that seem like that's the case?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's go look at the block settings then. So if we go to structure and then block layout. Okay, and then we look in the header there. Primary menus. Do you see we have both those menus there? Let's look at some of the stuff in there. So let's look at configure the SOS nav. Yeah, click configure on that. And then do you see where it says pages on the left hand side? Under visibility settings pages. Okay. So one thing I think we can try to do is, do you see it says, and it sounded like you might have already tried this because I emailed about it. Do you see where it says /SOSF/*? Can you remove the second / there? Yeah, you can keep the star, but just that second /. Try to get rid of that. So basically you're saying any subpage within there, and now you're saying, hey, any pattern that matches this beyond, let's keep this. And then save that block. Do you get kind of the distinction there? And we'll see if it works before I get too deep into explanation. But once that saves, you can keep this tab open just so we can edit some more stuff in here, but then go back to one of your tabs on the left-hand side up there, and let's see if we can get those menus to show up by refreshing and going to those pages again. Yeah, click into that real quick. And then, do SOSF there and see if that works. And just press enter there. Okay, so now you're seeing both of them, right? So that's good. Let's go back to that block layout tab on the far right. Yeah, let's click into that. And then let's go down a little bit into the primary menus, and we can do a couple things here. We could change the visibility settings of the main navigation as such that they don't appear, or we could just remove it because we don't really need I don't think we need this navigation for anything. But let's click into configure real quick. Let's see what's going on there. If there are visibility settings set, and then pages. Okay, so we're hiding for the same pages. Let's do the same thing, and let's remove that / there. So this looks like it's doing the same thing as the last one, but it's actually doing the exact opposite. Before we said, let's show it for the listed pages, and then let's hide it for the listed pages. And what we're saying is basically, before we were saying, any page within SOSF, any sub page, like / anything, / about, / contact or whatever, you either show or hide this. And now we're saying, hey, anything that sees this pattern at all, whether it's a sub page or that page or whatever, let's hide and show things based on that. So if you click that, click save. And then once that's done, if you were to go back to the home page on the one more tab to the left, and then if you were to reload that, you should remove the second menu that we don't want. Okay, so now you're I think now you're getting the behavior that you want to see.
But I need to be convinced, because sometimes we would see it and sometimes we didn't, and maybe that was the problem with the cache. But I'm going to go into my Chrome.
Yeah, you can do like have you ever used an incognito tab? It's it basically doesn't keep any of the cache of anything that you're looking at. So yeah, and then you can see we're a new incognito window, up one. And that way, that when you use this browser, it avoids you from having to clear the cache every time. You can just type things into here, and yeah, and it just and when every time you close it, it automatically loses that cache again.
Okay, nice. I don't usually take advantage of this. I forget.
Yeah. It's just a nice little trick that I use a lot when I'm developing stuff, because cache can really be a pain if you're not, careful with it. Sometimes you spend hours working on something that's actually working, but the cache is, giving you something old. So that's always a pain. But.
I think that looks great.
Okay, great. So does that make sense, what I was kind of talking about how we changed those menus? Or does the explanation make sense, or are you lost on what I was talking about there?
You can repeat it or maybe type it up for me. I mean, I do understand basically what you're saying.
Sure. Let's talk about it one more time real quick. So if in the browser that you're looking at right now, if you look up at the URL bar, do you see where it says admin.nber.org /Drupal /SOSF? Do you see how there's no / at the end of the SOSF?
Yeah.
So previously we were looking for a / and then we're saying we're using a wildcard, the star, that said anything after that / add this menu to it. But in this page, there's no / at all. We're at that actual page there. So that pattern was never found. So this menu here was never added to this pattern because that / was there. By removing that / and saying, hey, if you see the SOSF text there, anything, whether it's a / or another character or whatever, or this page specifically itself, let's add this menu there. And the inverse was true of the other menus. So that second menu that was showing, the shortened one, it was saying, hey, hide that menu for any pages after the / and anything before the / show it. So we just basically changed it to add this additional page here, if that makes sense.
Right, it does.
Cool.
And, okay, so here's one other question. So this was I was panicked about this, Jim.
Okay.
I tried so many times to try to fix it. I thought I messed up someplace.
Sure.
Somewhere in my configuring. So I'm relieved that this is fixed. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, so the cool thing about Drupal is it has a lot of flexibility for this kind of stuff. When you're not, if you haven't been around it for a while and you're less comfortable with it, it does get kind of scary. You're like, oh no, I think I messed up my menus and I don't know if I can ever recover this. But this stuff is pretty standard, built into Drupal stuff to allow you to be able to configure it on the fly. So you definitely weren't doing anything horribly wrong or breaking anything. It's just the settings are a little tricky if you're not used to them.
Can I just ask you a few quick questions?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so let me close this. I'm just going to go back into, aren't I logged in someplace? Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
When I'm in edit here,
Yeah.
so for instance, I put in some, in order, I kind of built the table for the pictures that are on the bottom.
Sure.
Myself.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Because I couldn't figure out otherwise how to get them in, so I just did it in HTML and copied it in. But
Perfect.
my question is, how can I do an undo? If I'm doing something in here and I don't like it and I want to go back to what it was,
Yeah.
can you do that?
Yeah, so there's something you can kind of do it. So I think can you scroll up on this page a little bit? It depends on if it's enabled or not. So scroll all the way up on the actual page outside of that edit box. Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, scroll up on the main page. Yeah. Okay, so do you see that revisions tab on the far right? Yeah, click that. Every time you save your work, every time you save this page, like you come in here, you make an HTML edit, you save it, it's going to create another revision on the back end. So you see all these different times that you've saved it. It looks like you've saved it a couple times today. Actually, today, yeah. Oh, sorry, yesterday. Yesterday was the 19th. It looks like you've edited a couple times, and you can come back here, and you can always actually revert to an older version. So like if you save it and it's all broken, you could come back here and you could click revert on one of these older versions. And you can also compare versions here. So like if you scroll down a little bit on this page, Debbie, let's see if you have a diff enabled. Okay, so you see where it says compare selected revision. So on the right hand side, you see those radio buttons. Basically, you'd click two different versions. So maybe you'd click your most recent one, and then you'd click something from the past. So if you click something in that left hand column there, click some. Yeah, perfect. And then come down here, compare selected revisions. This is going to give you a diff on what was changed between those versions. And then you can kind of visually see like, oh, maybe I missed one of my TDs or table data declarations, or looks like I changed, I removed that table style 80% there, and I made it 60% on the right hand side. And you can see those differences, and that will help you manually debug what has changed or what is broken. And then if you decide, well, it's too hard for me to go and manually change it, you can always click revert, and it'll bring you back to the former state of the code, and then you can work from that base again.
Okay, great. But if I'm actually, okay, say I'm in the editor in the source code, putting in some HTML,
Sure.
removing old HTML, and then I do preview, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it, but I haven't saved it. But if I go back, like everything I've deleted, I can't get back.
So the best part in that case, okay, so if you're previewing it and it doesn't look good and you've done a lot of work and you don't want to save it, at that point you should be able to cancel. Let's take a look at that. So we'll have to go back to where we were. You can either hit your go back button or and then go back again. Let's go all the way back. Okay, so if you're in here, let's go to the source and then feel free to just go in source and delete a bunch of stuff. We won't save it. Yeah, perfect. And then scroll down a little bit to the bottom of this page, and then hit preview. So if we look at this, maybe we're like, oh, this isn't what we want, right? So if you scroll down on this page.
Hold on a second, quick.
Okay.
Look at the menu.
Oh, okay. So this is to do with the URL pattern. So we're not. Right now, this preview is not going into that subfolder URL pattern. Do you see that at the top? It's going into Drupal, node, preview, whatever. So you can make that pattern whatever you want. You could change that pattern to say, display this menu all the time and let's never display the other menu. If that's if that's what you want, we can do that. You would just put a star there and then remove the other menu. Is that what you want? Like to always have that displayed? Is there any time that you want another menu displayed on the site? Okay, so yeah, we can go and do that real quick. But
okay, so where can I do cancel?
Okay, so scroll down on the bottom of this page. Is there a cancel button? Okay. Oh, interesting. Can you scroll up a little bit? Yeah, what's this little this bar here? So it says back to editing, and if you click this, what does that give us? Okay, full teaser, back to editing. So I guess it's kind of a funny layout where they put that. But I guess in this case, this theme is just putting it up in the header for some reason. And you click back to editing, and then from there, your stuff is still removed. So I'd come down to the bottom of this page, and I would the way I would get out of it, there's no cancel. So sorry, go up to the top of the page. If you click view here, you get out of your editing, and it takes you back to the last save that you had. And if you click back into edit, you should have your state back to where it was before. But yeah, that's a little funky. That's not the nicest workflow. If you wanted to be a little more robust with this, we could try to make that workflow a little bit better. It's something we could customize, but yeah.
But it didn't come back because Paula's photo is still gone.
Oh, is that what you just deleted was Paul's photo there?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm
Okay.
not going to save. So I'm just going to close it.
Yeah, well that's so okay. Hold on. Let's
Dealing with yesterday, I'm like, there has to be a more.
and it's still holding that change. Yeah, that's really strange. That there should be a I would think there would be a cancel button on here that we could use, but that's really kind of funny. Um,
So should I just close it?
yeah, you could try closing it, I guess, and then looking at it again. That's not what I expected to have happen there. And if you scroll down on this page, is Paul's picture there? If you go back to the
I'm going to go
Paul,
back.
okay.
I went back.
Yeah, because we never saved it, so it shouldn't be. Okay.
It's there.
Okay, so you're okay. Well, there should be a better workflow for that. There should be a way to cancel out of those changes. That's
Well, as long as I know right now that there's not, because I tried to figure it out yesterday and I just like. So
yeah.
that's why sometimes I started to do some coding in another editor and then copying it in and copying back and forth that way because I could make more changes. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I do get that, and I typically recommend not. I mean, so in this case, I think we're trying to get this thing out the door pretty quickly. I typically don't recommend putting a ton of HTML into a WYSIWYG field because it's hard to maintain that stuff because oftentimes those WYSIWYG fields, those big text fields, will try to like alter your HTML or things will kind of break and it's hard to track down where they're coming from. So I don't usually recommend doing like a ton of stuff in there. In this case, I think it's okay just to get this site out the door. But I think yeah.
The main thing I did it on, I'll show you. I didn't interrupt. Was on the people.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was having a hard time getting the table to work.
Sure.
Fine. So I did it on this.
Yeah. Yep.
Was that so bad?
No, it's not terrible. I think in this case, we're just, this is the quickest way to get the solution that we want is to put some like HTML into our WYSIWYG fields. And that's not a terrible thing to do. I don't want to make it sound like that's really bad, but it can become unwieldy at some point, especially if you get people who are less savvy at HTML than you. So like if you had someone on your team maintaining this list and they don't know HTML, there's a very high probability that they're going to come in and accidentally delete some of the HTML structure. And then when they view the page again, it's going to be all scrambled and they're going to have no idea how to put it back there. So
So what is the easiest way if I wanted to put this table in?
I think this is the easiest way. If you wanted a more sustainable way, it would involve custom coding and then building out kind of user interface widgets that allow a content editor to input the information in, but not change the structure. So I think this is the quickest. Yeah,
I tried to do this table command.
yeah,
Here.
that didn't work.
It was so clunky.
Yeah, see those.
And honestly, I was being lazy because this list, these participants in their universities,
Yeah,
we already had on our website, and I really didn't want to go through and type everything over
Sure.
again and proofread
Yep.
spelling. So I just felt that was the easiest way.
I'm with you on that. I think using just like writing HTML for what we're doing is perfectly fine. And I think that was the best way to approach this. If you wanted to like make it more robust, it would involve a significant amount more work. It would involve like adding structured fields to it and then theming those fields and going through all that stuff. So this is the way to go for what we're trying to accomplish here. But we could always, in the future, if we want to look at a more kind of like robust solution to this, we could always explore that too.
Okay. So should we go back into the blocks and so we can never see that menu?
Yeah. Let's make it so that menu is always the menu that we want to see. So we actually have to do it in the block setting. This is the menu settings here. So if you go back to structure, block layout. And it's all about the visibility settings of these. So if we go into the SOSF nav and click configure there. So it should be relatively easy to do if you click on pages. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could just put a star, which would be all the paths, but if you just delete this, it should automatically show for every page. So if you just completely remove it,
Completely remove it.
yeah, just completely cut it out, and then save this. The intention of this now is to show up on every single page. And then, so let's do a test. So like, do you know, see where it says at the top in the URL bar, it says, admin.nber.org/Drupal/ yeah. Get rid of the home and the SOSF and just go to the Drupal folder there. So yeah, and then, yeah, perfect. And then click enter here. Oh, whoops, that's not going to work, I guess. Sorry, you can click go back on that. Drupal user 1 or something like that. Try that. User /1. You need a / in between the 1 and the user. Oh, I don't know what's happening there.
I think it's confusing.
Yeah, it's not directing to Drupal for some reason. What's it looking at there? I don't know what the pattern normally is there. Is there a login? What happens if you go to?
It's log. There's a login.
Yeah, that's how we normally log into this, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, admin. Oh, sorry, I didn't even notice either. That was my mistake. Good catch. Oh, that should. Ooh. Okay. Good catch. Yeah, so now you can see that this menu is appearing even if we're not in that subsite anymore. The other thing we can do is we can just remove the other menus. So if we go back to our block layout, that far right tab you have open there, or either one of those tabs. If you come down here, you can either hide it with the visibility settings like we're doing, or you can, if you never want to see that main navigation on this theme, you can completely remove it. So to the right of where it says configure on main navigation, you could, yeah, click there, and you could just disable or remove whatever one you want to do. Okay, perfect. And then, so now you should just be seeing that new menu everywhere, and you shouldn't be seeing that old menu anymore on this specific theme. So anytime you're on this theme, and I know we're doing some theme switching stuff too, but every time you're on this theme, that's what you should be able to see. So if you reload that page, perfect. And then when you do things like previewing your content and it goes to those URLs that aren't within the SOSF folder, you should still see the good menu that you want to see. So I think that hopefully solves that issue.
Maybe this is an Alex question, but yesterday when I was back around, I created hyperlinks to these two here papers.
Okay.
And if you look at the bottom, see where it says funding WP.pdf?
Yeah.
So, hold on. I'm going to go in and edit. I'm just doing this as a test, okay?
Sure.
I wanted to show someone today. And in my folder, actually, I think I'm sorry.
It's okay. Is the issue that if you change the casing on it, it can't find the file? Is that the...
Yes.
Yeah, so it's looking for...
And it not only does it change, by changing the casing, it doesn't find... Where did I have that? It automatically would, when I click on the link,
Mm-hmm.
and I would look at it in the menu, it automatically switches it from uppercase to lowercase.
It automatically switched. Okay. Can you show me what you mean?
So you see it's uppercase now.
The F in funding is uppercase. Is that?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's only working because it takes a while for our website because I changed it from uppercase to lowercase.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
only finding it's cache. But you see up here,
Uh huh. It's
it
lowercase there.
automatically
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
The only way I could get it to work yesterday was by renaming all the papers in lowercase.
Yeah.
Not open it up like
Okay. Interesting. So
yeah.
your file management's not happening on Drupal at all. You're not saving these files to Drupal at all. These are somewhere else, right?
That's right. It's on the server.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
even if I have right now it's in www.sos papers.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's looking. But even if when I put it in, I even put it
So
in
if you manually type a capital F into this URL right there, and you reload that, what happens here?
it'll take a while for it to our server to
Yeah.
realize it's just
It automatically changes here though. So there's something happening here that is something on this SOS F papers file storage is it's automatically changing this to lowercase. Did you see that? Like it looks like independent of Drupal that when you tried to reload that with a capital F it went back to lowercase.
right.
So yeah,
I have no idea.
yeah,
Is that an Alex question?
I think that's an Alex question. If he's managing this system here, I don't know much about what's happening over here, but it looks like something's happening where there's probably a policy where all this stuff gets uploaded in lowercase, and there's just like in case people didn't link it lowercase, it's automatically looking for the lowercase versions of the files. Is what I would assume, but I don't know. I would ask Alex about that.
Okay. I thought it was a very frustrating day yesterday.
Yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about. Sometimes these little things just like are confusing and they're time consuming, so I totally get it.
So time consuming. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to go back and get back to my lowercase f. We were all here why, but
Yeah. Yeah, ask Alex, and if he doesn't know, then we can take another look, but I have a feeling he'll be able to answer it better than I can.
okay. But for now, I'm going to switch that, and then I'm going to go back in here. Okay. Great. I'm going to, right now, I don't think I have any other questions. Well,
Okay.
I have lots of questions. But I don't know if Alex is in, if maybe there's some things you might want to talk with him about.
Okay. Sure.
What do you think?
Is he there right now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to go check.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you excuse me?
Sure. Yeah.